You are the smartest person in your family when it comes to money. Think about it. You're the one who opened a Roth IRA. You're the one who actually reads the terms on a credit card. You're the one who moved out, figured out rent, built a budget on a spreadsheet at midnight, while the rest of your family still doesn't know the difference between a 401k and a savings account. You did all of that. And one day, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10, you're gonna cross a number that no one in your family has ever crossed. $1 million in net worth. And here's the part nobody talks about. That day is going to be the loneliest day of your life. Let's go back, way back. You're maybe 22, 23, first real job. Maybe it's $42,000 a year, maybe $55,000, doesn't matter. What matters is, for the first time, you have a paycheck with your name on it, a direct deposit, real money hitting a real account every 2 weeks. And your family is proud, like genuinely proud. Your mom tells her coworkers, your dad shakes your hand differently, your cousins start asking if you can look something up for them or help with paperwork. You become the person in the family who has it together. But here's what's actually happening under the surface. You're carrying a student loan payment, maybe $400 a month. You've got rent, probably $1,100, $1,300 if you're in a mid-sized city, way more if you're anywhere near a coast. You've got a car payment because nobody told you not to buy new. You've got a credit card you're slowly feeding every month and slowly not paying off. And every family gathering, every birthday, every Christmas, you're the one who picks up the tab a little more, chips in a little more, because you have a real job now. And you want to help. You genuinely do. That's not the problem. The problem is something nobody in your family can see. And honestly, neither can you. Not yet. Here's the thing about being the first financially aware person in your family. You're not just managing your money, you're managing theirs too. Emotionally, financially, sometimes literally. There's a word for this. It's called financial caretaking. And it quietly destroys more first-generation wealth builders than any bad investment ever will. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not dramatic. There's no single moment where you look at your bank account and go, oh no. It creeps. It starts with, can you help me out this month? And because you love your family, you say yes. Then it's, can you co-sign this? And because you don't want them to struggle, you say yes. Then it's the holiday flights, the emergency car repair, the I'll pay you back that both of you know probably isn't coming. And here's the brutal part. Every single one of those moments feels right in the moment. It feels like love. It feels like loyalty. It feels like what a good son, daughter, sibling, cousin is supposed to do. But underneath all of it, something is quietly happening to your future. Let me tell you about Alex. Grew up in Cleveland. Single mom, 2 younger sisters. He was sharp, got a partial scholarship, worked part-time through college, graduated with about $28,000 in student loans. Got a job in IT making $61,000 a year. Not rich, but stable. More stable than anyone in his family had been at his age. By 26, Marcus had started a small investment account. He was putting $200 a month into index funds. Nothing crazy, just steady. Also putting about $300 to $400 a month into his family. $100 here for his mom's electric bill when it got high in January. $70 there when his sister needed new tires. A plane ticket home for Thanksgiving because her mom couldn't afford it and he didn't want her to feel bad. Not every month, but close. He didn't track it because tracking it would make it feel like he was counting against his family, and Marcus wasn't that kind of person. By the time Marcus was 30, he ran the numbers. Not because he wanted to, because a friend at work mentioned something about compound interest, and Marcus got curious and sat down one Sunday afternoon with a spreadsheet. What he found stopped him cold. In 4 years, he had given his family, in various forms, tracked and untracked, just under $19,000. He had $11,000 in his investment account. If that $19,000 had gone into the market instead, at a pretty average 8% return, Marcus would have been sitting on closer to $26,000 or $27,000 by then. He wasn't angry. He was just quiet, because he realized the problem wasn't that he helped his family. The problem was that he had never made a decision about it. It just happened, month after month, without a system, without a limit, without a plan. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Because this isn't just about Alex. This is about a very specific psychological pattern that almost every first-generation wealth builder falls into. There's this feeling, and if you grew up in a household where money was always tight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's this feeling that having more than the people you love is uncomfortable. Psychologists call it survivor's guilt, but for money, it's more like abundance guilt. You worked hard and things are going okay for you. Your family is still struggling, and every time you spend money on yourself, a vacation, a nice dinner, a contribution to your retirement account, there's this whisper in the back of your head, they could really use this. And so you give, not because someone asked, but because keeping it feels selfish. And then there's another layer on top of that. When you're the successful one in the family, there's a social expectation that gets placed on you. Nobody says it directly, but you feel it at every gathering. The assumption that you'll handle things, the slight edge in someone's voice if you say no, the comparison, you're doing so well though. It creates this trap where the more successful you become, the more you feel financially responsible for everyone around you. And the more you give, the slower your own wealth grows. And the slower your wealth grows, the longer it takes to actually be in a position to truly help the people you love. It's a cycle, and most people never name it. Let me stay with the numbers for a second, because this is where it gets real. The average American wealth builder who starts investing at 25 puts in $500 a month consistently and earns an average market return will have somewhere between $1.5 and $2 million by the time they're 60. That's not a guarantee, but that's the math, roughly. Now, what happens if instead of $500 a month, you're only putting in $300 because the other $200 is quietly flowing out toward family needs, helping here, covering there? You don't end up with $1.5 million. You end up with somewhere closer to $900,000. That's a $600,000 difference. Not because you made bad investments, not because you didn't earn enough, but because of a pattern that felt like kindness and was in many ways, but that nobody ever helped you build a system around. And here's what's really landing hard. If you had actually built that wealth, all of it, the people you love would have been taken care of far better in the long run. Because $1 million net worth gives you options that $900,000 doesn't. It gives you the ability to actually change your family's trajectory, not just patch the month, but change the trajectory for real, for good. You're in super concrete. Say you bring home $4,200 a month after taxes. Pretty average for someone in their late 20s in the US right now. Here's what a lot of first-generation wealth builders look like on paper. Rent, $1,300. Car payment and insurance, $520. Groceries and utilities, $400. Student loans, $380. Phone and subscriptions, $120. Family help, untracked, $350 average. Miscellaneous spending, $430. Investing, $200 if there's anything left over. Total going out, $3,700 to $4,000. Investing, whatever's scraped together at the end. Now, here's what it looks like with a system. Same income, same rent, same bills, but family help gets a budget line. Let's say $200 a month. Not zero, but defined. The other $150 that was floating goes to investing. Now you're investing $350 a month instead of $200. That doesn't sound huge, but over 30 years, that difference, $150 a month, is roughly $220,000. $220,000 gone, not because you made bad investments, not because you didn't earn enough, but because of a pattern that felt like kindness and was in many ways, but that nobody ever helped you build a system around. People who actually build generational wealth, not the ones who inherit it, but the ones who build it from nothing, they think about family money differently. They don't say no to their families. They say no without a system and yes with one. They decide in advance what they can give. They treat it like a subscription, a set amount each month that doesn't grow just because they feel guilty one Thursday night. And here's the mindset shift that matters most. They stop thinking of investing as money they're keeping from their family. They start thinking of it as money they're building for their family, just on a longer timeline. Your retirement account is not selfish. Your index fund is not you turning your back on where you came from. It is the most loving, long-game move you can possibly make for the people you care about. Because the version of you with $1.5 million at 60 can buy your mom a house. The version of you who gave it all away a little at a time can barely cover your own retirement. So here's the actual thing you can do, starting now with whatever income you have. Name the line. That's it. Sounds simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Decide right now what your monthly family contribution budget is. Maybe it's $100.
Maybe it's $300. Whatever feels honest and sustainable for your situation, write it down. Make it a category in your budget, just like rent, just like utilities. When the month is done, that budget is done. What you give inside that number is love. What you protect outside that number is also love, just the kind that takes longer to see. Second, automate your investing before anything else. The moment your paycheck hits, your investment contribution leaves. Not what's left over, not if there's anything at the end of the month. First, automatic, gone before you can feel guilty about it. Pay your future self the same urgency you pay your landlord, because your landlord will come after you if you don't pay them. Your future self, they're quiet. They never call, they never guilt you, but one day, 20, 30 years from now, you're going to meet them, and they're either going to be free or they're going to be desperate. You're deciding which one right now. The day you become your family's first millionaire, it's not going to be a party. Nobody's going to throw a parade. There's no certificate. Your bank app will just show a number, and you'll sit there quietly and feel something you don't quite have words for. Part pride, part grief, part relief. Grief because you'll think about all the people who worked just as hard as you did and never got there. Grief because the path was lonelier than you expected, because there were years when doing the right thing for your future felt like betraying the people you loved. But here's the truth. You didn't choose money over family. You chose to be the person who could actually change things, not just soften the month, but change the trajectory for real. For good. The first millionaire in any family doesn't just build wealth for themselves, they quietly rewrite what's possible for everyone who comes after them. And that starts with one decision, not the investment, the line.